Over the past week, NATO fighter jets intercepted 10 Russian planes over the Baltic region, according to the Lithuanian Defence Ministry. For the first time, the alliance's fighter jets flew to identify the Russian Il-20 on August 13th. The very next day, 2 Russian aircraft were spotted by NATO fighters. TU-22M3, 2 Su-30, 2 Su-35, and 2 Su-27. TU-22M3, S-30, and S-35 aircraft flew in international airspace from Russian territory and back. 2 Su-27 aircraft circled in the airspace near the Kaliningrad region. They had no flight plan, no radar repeaters turned on, and no radio communication support, the Defense Ministry said. For the third time on August 16th, NATO fighter jets took to the air to identify a Russian plane. Su-20, which was flying from the Kaliningrad region to the Russian mainland, and it again did not get on the radio, had no flight plan, and no transponder turned on. Let me remind you that Russia has repeatedly violated the airspace of NATO countries with its military aircraft. This also applied to the new members of the alliance, Sweden and Finland. This also applied to new alliance members Sweden and Finland. It is noted that Russia's aggressive hybrid actions may be considered by NATO as an attack on all members of the alliance and provides for a plan of action in response. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso called on the UN Security Council to take action in connection with Ukraine's support for terrorism. Burkina Faso and Mali sent a joint letter to the UN Security Council complaining that Ukraine is allegedly involved in supporting terrorism in the Sahel region. The foreign ministers of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso strongly condemn the support and glorification of terrorism by the Ukrainian authorities and call on the Security Council to fulfill its obligations regarding Ukraine's conscious choice to support terrorism in Africa, especially in the Sahel region, the statement reads. Accusations from African countries emerged after Tuareg in Mali defeated a convoy of government troops and Wagner PMC militants, whom these countries often use as a security service. Mali accuses Kiev of involvement in the operation, cuts diplomatic ties with Ukraine, and aligns with Russia's view. Of the Ukrainian government as neo-Nazi and racist, contrary to the Ukrainian people's desire for peace and stability. Quote, Burkina Faso and Niger, of course, supported their ally, while in Ukraine, the decision of the African governments was called short-sighted. The accusations were rejected, and they emphasized that such actions only emphasized their rapprochement with the terrorist country, Russia. During his visit to Kyiv on August 23rd, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will discuss with Zelensky the end of the war with Russia. Reuters reports that the Indian Prime Minister allegedly said this. Modi said that he would share the prospects for a peaceful settlement of the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. He expressed hope for a swift return of peace and stability in the region before his visit to Europe. On Wednesday, Modi flew to Poland, and on Friday he will visit Kyiv, which will be the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Ukraine since the establishment of diplomatic relations 30 years ago, and since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Modi's trip to our country comes a few weeks after his visit to Moscow. The Indian Prime Minister hugged Putin on July 8th, the same day the occupiers struck at the Ohmad Children's Hospital in Kyiv. Bloomberg recently reported that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi may deliver a message from Putin to Volodymyr Zelensky.